We did have a little bit of a family emergency, and we had to keep our niece overnight. So I had to wait for my husband to get off of work so that he could keep her, so that I could do the live. Hi, Derek. Thanks for joining. There is Jared. Let's see, Jared. Let's see if I can send you the message. Oh no, Jared, can you request? There you go. Thank you guys for being patient. I really appreciate it. Steven, Dave, waiting on Jared to, there he is. Hi.
Hello.
Hi. Sorry for our delay. I'm really sorry. So thank you for being patient with me. I really appreciate it.
Not a problem. I'm just tweaking the camera here, see if I can hear you and see you and all that jazz.
Awesome. So we have, well, there's several people that joined. Guys, thank you so much for waiting on us. I really appreciate it. So Derek is here. Stephen is here. Josh, Dave Cowley, Michael Handel, Lancaster Razor, Mikey Moneybags, Dylan, Cal. Okay, awesome. There's several people here.
Sweet.
Hey, Gary Man, that is actually a woman. Yes, I'm actually a woman. And a lot of people don't see that if they don't catch the live. So I get a lot of messages saying, hey, dude. And I'm like, thank you, but I'm not.
Okay, so first off, where's your wine?
My wine is right here, but I've had a 4-year-old for like 2 hours. So this is actually like my second and like half of a third glass. So it's only a partial glass, but I've been drinking already. Don't worry.
I opted for spiced rum.
Spiced rum. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Cal, thank you. Thanks for joining. I'm sure you're probably working and on the road, so I appreciate you hanging in with us. So, guys, this is Jared's first live. He has never done a live, and so you guys have to be very nice to him. So, Derek, mind your P's and Q's tonight. You know, we don't need to harass Jared too much, or he won't come back, and he definitely won't do another live with me. So, yes.
Yo, JB, what's up? Sorry, I had to channel Tim.
Yeah. Yes. SK Shaving. Be gentle. Yes. So, guys, I do wear glasses occasionally, and I can see without them. They're reading glasses, but you know, sometimes I can read the comments a little easier. So, James is here. Jason, everybody. Okay, awesome. So, Jared has been kind enough to come on and help go over some information about some of the products that he carries and some of the differences that you can have in shaving bowls and how that can affect like your buildup, your lather, and just different processes and products that you carry. So, I'm going to turn it over to you. I think I sent you a couple questions that people had about
Sure.
Differences in materials. That was one big question. And also differences in the ridges versus like the dimples that you see. So those are the questions that I got submitted, but it's all yours.
Okay, so I think first thing I thought I'd start off with, because I've heard people use the term scuttle and bowl interchangeably, and they're not the same. So I just thought I'd show you what each are, just for those that aren't quite sure. So a lather bowl is essentially a bowl with or without ridges in it that is essentially used for building lather in. Okay. The difference between that and a scuttle is a scuttle has the same sort of properties, except for it has a vessel underneath for putting hot water.
Okay, so this is just a bowl. Right. Okay. And then I have, this is not my favorite because it's really small. So this would technically be a scuttle because it has the bowl, but you can put the hot water in here.
Right. So
okay.
They kind of do the same things for the lathering, but the scuttle allows you to use warm water in there to keep your lather nice and hot. So it just adds to the shaves. They tend to be a little bit deeper just because they want the water around the bowl a little bit more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's what that's about.
Okay, Lancaster, let me interrupt you real quick. Lancaster is asking to tell us more about who you are. So you want to give us just a quick rundown about the company real quick?
Sure. So my name is Jared Francois from Thirsty Badger. We are up in Saskatchewan, Canada. I've been into wet shaving for just a couple of years. I got introduced from a local guy here that was at the time doing training on how to wet shave. And it's always kind of been a bit of a passion. Like I've always been interested in it. So it was kind of cool to start. And from there, I started my website. So I had a place to do some blogging and just kind of write about the experience and share kind of why I got into it and why I like it. And on the side, my wife does pottery as kind of her hobby. So we kind of said, well, why don't we take some of your pottery things you're making and I'll put it on a website, which is also my background. I do web development stuff. So, and that's kind of went from there.
Okay.
Yo, Tim, what's up?
Awesome. Yeah, we have a lot of people still joining. Yes, guys, for those of you who are just joining, Jared with Thirsty Badger, he's here. He's going to talk about some of his bowls products and some of the differences in the scuttles and bowls and some of the other products that he actually offers that you don't really see a whole lot. So, okay.
Yeah, so that's kind of my background. That's where I started. And really, I'm not here to make a gazillion dollars. I'm more about spreading the passion for the hobby. And that's kind of why I started it. So,
okay. Yeah. Awesome. What are gappers? I don't know. JB keeps talking about gappers. I'm not really sure what that means. Is that like a Canadian thing?
It's a Manitoba thing, I guess.
Okay. Where's the rider jersey? Where's the rider jersey, Jared? I don't know. Can you see the comments?
Yeah, well, if you look here, you see like my 2 bottles of rider booze. I'll just pick up the camera here and do a little bit of I think this is what he's looking, or is the jerseys on the side. So for those that aren't from Saskatchewan, it's our big passion here is our football team.
Okay.
We don't have a lot of anything else going on for professional sports. So we have our CFL football team, and rider fans are nuts. It's like the Saskatchewan thing. So
I see. So Dave Callie asked if we have a Brands bowl on hand that we can show. So yeah, Jared's, all of his examples I'm sure are going to be of his. I actually have a Thirsty Badger bowl that I got from him myself, and I love this. I have a Q-shaped bowl, a scuttle, sorry. And I make a mess with this thing. Like it's too narrow for me, and I literally get lather. I get shit everywhere. So I did a little bit of a trade, and I have one Thirsty Badger bowl, but I love it. I don't make a mess with it, and it's like super comfortable. I was worried because I kind of have small hands, but it actually fits very well, and I don't make a mess. Like the lather actually stays inside the bowl, which is.
And so the one you have is actually a little bit on the wider and deeper side than what I traditionally have. So let me just pull one to show you. So there's this guy. That's kind of what we normally shoot for size.
Okay.
To put it in perspective.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's like the best soap ever.
So that's kind of what we try and shoot for size. The thing with pottery is that it's a little bit of a crapshoot when it hits the kiln. So they shrink between 5 and 15%. So that can sometimes make it tricky. That's why we don't do a ton of scuttles, because they shrink and they become useless and things like that. So they're a little bit more finicky. So, okay. But yeah, that's kind of the size we shoot for. We traditionally do the curved handle on the side. That's kind of just, I like being able to just throw it in the palm of the hand and just hold on to it. So it just makes it comfortable. Because of that, most of the stock we have is for left hand bowl hold, right hand lather.
Right.
But we do have some that are straight handled, and we do have some that are no handle at all. And they just have a different texture or something to help hold on to.
But I assume like, Mike, behave. Sorry, Jared. They're like already starting in here. Dan, my water glass is right here, as you know. Hi, Linda. Thanks for joining. Guys, I'm also going to be doing a live with Linda soon. Okay, so I guess it's natural because it feels like that to me, but I don't bowl lather consistently, except for like when I'm like in the shop testing and stuff, because obviously I'm not really going to bowl lather in the shower, especially with ceramic, because I drop it all the time. Like literally, I drop my phone like 10 times a day.
Yeah.
So is that typical for somebody who is right-handed that they're going to hold the bowl with the left just because out of habit or tendency?
You know, some people like to have it in the palm of their hand. Some people like to sit it on the table. And so like your scuttle is one where you would kind of sit it on the base of your table and then lather down in it.
Okay.
Primarily because it's got hot water in it, right? So you don't want to be holding this hot water thing flopping around your hand. So the bigger ones, people will just kind of leave it on the counter and do that way. But for me, I've just always enjoyed having it palm of the hand.
Yeah, leaving it on the counter kind of seems weird, but maybe because I do it.
Yeah.
Just maybe feels not natural to me. You know?
And I mean, for me, I started bowl lathering when I first got into the hobby. I think it's a great way for new people to get into it. It just really allows you to control your lather. So when you're kind of just figuring things out, you can, put your soap in, you can start working a little bit. If it gets a little bit too airy, you can keep working it some more. If it's a little bit dry, you can add water. So it lets you play with the lather a little bit better.
Okay.
The way you want. So I think it's a great way to start. I still do face lathering as well. I just find that I can get a little more precise lathering with a bowl.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah. And I know when I'm testing, because I do shave my legs with with all of my shave soap. So I do test on myself, but whenever I test every batch that I make, I do a quick like bowl or hand lather just to make sure I didn't like miscalculate or misweigh something. Make sure it doesn't like feel drying on my hands or something like feels off. So it's always nice. But to me, it seems weird to put the bowl on the counter. I don't know. It's like eating cereal. Who eats cereal with the bowl on the table like to eat it, right? Like,
the people that eat their cereal with the fork, those people.
Yeah, exactly.
So people had asked, there was a question about texture. Texture, I'll see. Can you see the texture in this one? It's a little bit.
Yes.
So we do a few different designs. A lot of them are kind of the circular pattern, but we also like to have kind of the lines across. Really what the big difference in that is when you're working your brush in there, you're agitating the soap, and any of this texture is going to help you add some air, add some water, work out the bubbles so you get a better lather.
Okay.
So you want having the lines and different textures to work across is all going to help you make that quicker and easier.
Okay.
You can lather in a textureless bowl as well. I lathered in a cereal bowl like you did for the first little while until I got my own lather bowl. So.
Yeah.
Some textures work a little bit better than others. We do some that have textures around the edge as well, because as you're working a bigger brush, it'll help to not only get across the bottom of the bowl but across the sides. So
okay.
Yeah.
You guys, I can't like. I would apologize, but you knew they were like this already. So.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes it's like a bunch of high school kids up in here. They're being halfway decent tonight, but
Well, I just thought it was a difference between the 8 o'clock crowd versus the 7:30 crowd.
That could be. Everybody's had an extra half hour of drinking already, so that's definitely possible. But Derek, no, I don't eat cereal with my hands, except for whenever I'm in the pantry and I have the munchies and I like literally eat dry cereal. I do occasionally do that. That's a good snack. Yeah, Linda, just wait, because your time's coming, girlfriend. We are totally doing this together. My goal is to like do lives with everybody that does not do lives. That's like my new goal here. Okay, so really, but does it matter? There's no difference then, as long as there's texture. You're not really going to see. There's not really a difference between like the dimples in it versus like the ridges, I guess.
It depends on how you lather. There's going to be subtle differences.
Okay.
I wouldn't say one is better than the other. The other thing you'll find with certain textures, if you like to load your soap, you press a sample or press some of your soap into your bowl, some of the textures can be a little bit of a pain to clean or to get the soap out, because it just kind of crunches into the dimples, as they say. Yeah. So some just are a little trickier to do that way. The other thing you kind of find with the different sizes is if you have a big brush, a bigger bowl will probably be a little bit better for you. Sure. But if you tend to use a smaller knot, like something like this, that's a lot of extra space. So that can have an effect too. I mean, I have small and big size brushes that I kind of switch between. Okay. Luckily, I have a few leather bowls. My wife always has me trying out and stuff. So
yeah, I bet you have all kinds. Yeah, I've seen some of your cool pictures, and you've actually taken a couple cool pictures with mine. So I really appreciate that. Speaking of which, I'm starting a YouTube, so this will be like one of my first videos on my YouTube. I'm going to carry my lives over to.
Oh, so not only my live, you're recording me for future prosperity.
Yes.
Cool.
I forgot to give you that disclaimer beforehand.
Yeah, you're gonna have to email me the waiver. And if you monetize, I want the thousands of cents that are coming in.
Yes, yes. Actually, my YouTube is not going to have new content. It's literally just going to be a place for me to like take my lives over because, you know, they're only here for 24 hours. So if you want, I don't know. You don't, do you have a YouTube? You don't, do you?
No. I leave the behind the camera work for the experts. I'm a face for radio kind of guy.
Ah, I see. Well, you know, I mean, we all have to start somewhere, and I can tell you, like, let's see, what is it? It's March. Like, if you look at my December lives and then look at my lives now, I still ramble and carry on and say 100 times, but you know, then I was just like, just how it is. I was like a deer in headlights. Like my interview with Yost was terrible. So, okay. So you only offer the ceramic bowls, though, right?
Well, other than the 3D printed kind of stuff that I play with a little bit,
Okay.
yeah, the ceramic is what we kind of special in, and we do everything we do is all hand thrown. So there's kind of two ways you can go with ceramics. You can do hand thrown, which someone is sitting at a wheel and they're working the clay into the shape they want, and then they fire it, and that's what you get. Or you can do what's called slip casting, where someone makes a mold.
Okay.
And it's the shape you want, and then you pour really thin clay into it, and then it turns into your object that way. So slip casting allows you to do a little bit more production kind of setups where you can make more of them quicker, and they're all going to be identical.
Okay.
So you'll see some bowls out there that are like that, where they're all same shape, same texture. They all just have a little bit different color, and that's just from the different glazes they use. That's not us. We like to do the little bit of unique. So everything that comes out from our place is all made with love.
Get that 100%.
Yeah.
Get
Not
that.
that there's anything wrong with slip casting. We're actually looking at playing with that a little bit. Because I'm a 3D printing nerd, I also have been playing with some designs that, and I want to kind of try out the mold making side of things and see what it's like if I could 3D print a mold and then make a pottery cast out of what I've printed. So that's something we're playing with a little bit too.
Okay. These comments, I'm sorry, guys. I mean, seriously. Okay, so I saw recently Cow Shaves Ken had a really cool like 3D printed like kit from you that had like a bowl and it held like his razors and soap, right?
Yeah, that's kind of been my baby that I've been playing with for a while. So this is what he's got. He got the special logo on there because he was like one of the first people that kind of supported me on that. So I was able to actually buy a printer and start doing this at home instead of our little maker space. Essentially, these take like 22 hours to print, start to finish. Yeah, so where I was doing them before, it was like a community shop, and I'd have to sit there for 22 hours. So having a printer at home was a big thing. So there's essentially, I love traveling and doing my shaves on the road. And I know that kind of speaks to what you guys do about Zingari and which means gypsy, right?
It does. It means gypsy or traveler. So yes, exactly.
So I just enjoy having a shave on vacation because you get a little bit more time, right? You're not hurrying, rushing out in the dorm in the morning and you have to have a quick shave. So I've kind of always been passionate about the travel stuff. So I kind of wanted a way to take a lather bowl on the road and have it with me. So I made this design, and it's got a screw lid. And then inside it, I modeled it. It's got an insert so I can carry my razor and everything.
Okay.
And then inside that, you take that out, and that's the lather bowl.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so it's got the texture on the bottom. So it allows me to pack all that kind of stuff to take with me on the road. I want to shave.
These guys. So, you guys behave. This is supposed to be an educational series. So
you're learning some new words. It's good.
is what I get for making men's products. I mean, it's a bunch of high school people up in here. I love you guys, though. I mean, you guys are definitely awesome. So the bowls that you have are, they're the same as like, because Jared printed these like travel brush tubes for me whenever I got my thing. And this one actually fits like my favorite, one of my favorite brushes ever. If it's my favorite brush, it's perfect. So I love this. So the bowls and stuff, I assume, are the same, like they're the same fabric or material, right? So it's the texture and...
Yeah, they're made out of, it's called PLA. It's a type of plastic. And essentially the 3D printing, it's like a computerized hot glue gun. It just goes around in a shape and it just prints layer upon layer upon layer of this hot filament, which then cools and makes your shape. So
I see. Josh, yeah, it's a tube. It's for my brush, but it's actually, I don't know if you can see it. It's actually vented so that it has, like, if it's not all the way dry, it can get some air and stuff into it. But he actually made it to fit my brushes, which is really nice. So, and it's very lightweight and it feels like it would be really durable. I haven't, actually I've taken this with me once just for an overnight trip, but I haven't taken it with me for any long trips, but it definitely, the holes are, you know, it's right on the brush area. So it'll help, give it some dry. It'll help give it some air so that it can dry.
Yeah, and the 3D designs I've done, if you have a 3D printer, if you're a 3D printing nerd like I am, the plans are all on my website. So you can go and print any of the stuff that I make. You can print on your own house. So you can, if you want to make your own brush travel tube that's the exact size for your brush, have at her.
Okay. Yeah. That's pretty cool. So do you have a lot of people that take you up on that? I mean, are there a lot of people that have a home 3D?
It's getting more approachable. Like mine was like $320 Canadian.
Oh.
So that's like $10 US, I think.
Not quite, but you guys. Josh, thank you. I assume we're talking about my red. This is a Barbary one. I actually made braised veal shanks tonight or lamb shanks tonight for dinner. So I had to drink the rest of the red wine that I used to cook with. So
I had Burger King, so I had to, pour rum in my Coke.
Oh my gosh, you guys. Burger King is not good. I don't know what it is with you guys, but
we listened to the 6-year-old in the house. He wanted Burger King tonight. I wasn't gonna argue.
Oh, the shade of blushing. I'm not blushing. It takes a lot to make me blush. If I'm getting like red right now, it's because I'm drinking the red wine. It kind of, a little pink. Yeah. So there was something else that we were going to go over. They are totally distracting me. These guys are awful tonight.
Oh, see, I'm just letting you read the comments, and I'm just assuming they're saying lovely, nice things.
They are definitely saying lovely, nice things. You probably don't want to read them. I'm actually.
You want to talk about brush scuttles?
Oh, there you go. Let's talk about brush scuttles. Yeah, I'm trying to like pay attention to them in case somebody actually has a question, but at the same time, it's like I can't not read them because they're, they are what they are, and if I don't read them now, the way Instagram has been going, they're going to be gone, and I won't catch them later.
Yeah. So brush scuttles, we just wanted something that for the face lathering gents and ladies. So
well, I've only done it once, well, twice. Okay, I've done it twice now, live. But
I've seen it a few times. So essentially, the brush scuttle is a way to allow you to keep your lather warm. So you essentially fill the bottom cup up with piping hot water.
Okay.
Put the top cup in there, and then when you're between your passes, you just stuff your brush back inside there, and it keeps your brush nice, or your lather nice and warm.
Okay. So, but you don't lather inside of it. It's literally just to hold the brush and keep it warm, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I did see someone ask about microwave. I wouldn't.
You are reading the questions.
It passed through quickly.
I got you. You are reading these and you're keeping a straight face. I don't know how you're doing that, but good job, Jared. Good job.
I play a lot of competitive sports with a bunch of guys that are, locker room talk. So I'm just used to water off duck's back. That's how they say. So the thing with microwaves is that it can interact with some of the glazes that are put on there. So I wouldn't recommend microwaving any pottery unless they've specifically said it's used to glaze. It can be that way.
Okay.
But as far as like piping hot water, they're fired at, I think my wife said 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
So they can handle hot water, boiling water. You can put them in the oven. If you wanted to bake a souffle in a lather bowl, have at her. And all the stuff is the glazes we typically use are food safe. So
I think the ridges would probably ruin a souffle. I'm just going to throw that out there for anybody who may be considering that. You probably don't want to do it.
Don't listen to her. Make a souffle in it. I'm betting it works.
So what about the travel ones? Can the 3D material be microwaved?
No, the 3D ones for sure not, because they have a lower temperature on them. I wouldn't even go with, like, I wouldn't put boiling hot water in those either.
Okay.
I've put like hot water as I can use out of the tap, but that's about as high a temp I'd go.
Okay. If I have, you guys, seriously, come on, like, work with me here. This is going to be my first YouTube video, guys. Just work with me. So there was something else that we were going to talk about, and they got me all distracted. I can't even now. I don't.
Shaved mugs?
Mugs. Oh yeah. Now, do you carry mugs?
We just did a kind of a small release of them. So we did kind of we wanted a traditional shave mug type shape. It's not really something you'd lather in, but a lot of times you'll get like a sterling sample, for example. And it's like, well, what do you do with this? You don't want to just kind of keep it hanging around. So a lot of people would take like a shave mug and they'd put it on there, and then they would load the brush inside the mug and then lather a lather bowl or face lather. So we did a few of those because I just wanted to see, I kind of like the idea of it myself. So that's kind of how we started down that road. And we thought we'd try it out for those that like Williams mug or fine accoutrements. For a while, they were doing all their soaps in a cardboard box. So it just gives you a spot you can store your soap. It's kind of cool.
Right. So with the mugs though, because that's like the old traditional, like the shit grandpa used to use,
Yep.
The old like ceramic mugs or metal mugs and things like that. So you can keep that soap in there for a little bit and it's not going to, I mean, my husband doesn't even have the damn lid to his shave. It's like the worst wet shaver ever. It's a little bit embarrassing. He doesn't even rinse his brush out half the time. It's a whole different subject.
Yeah.
But so you can, I assume most soaps are okay for a while or even a few weeks or something if it's a sample being just pressed into a mug like that, right?
Yeah, you might lose a little bit of scent and it'll firm up a little bit if you leave it in there a long time. So if you're using a really soft soap, it's eventually going to dry out and turn on the harder side. Now it'll hydrate again once you hit it with water, but it's just going to change that. What you're used to having a soft pro will turn into a hard soap kind of thing.
Right. Okay.
I believe like Old Spice, everybody's seen the Old Spice mugs that they used to have for their shaving mugs. And they actually had a lid that would go on top so you could actually cover it up after you'd used it. So that's something you can do too.
Yeah.
I plan to 3D model something to kind of throw in with them so that you can cover them up, but that's still in the works.
Okay. Yeah. Yes, my husband is a monster. He doesn't use my brushes because I have actually nice brushes that I actually love. And so my husband gets kind of a crappy brush because he does not take care of it. He actually rinses his brush out when he does rinse it. He does like one lather, and let me tell you, it's not even, one of these times I'm seriously going to record my husband shaving because you guys will stroke out. I'm not even kidding. It is a little bit embarrassing. Yeah, he's terrible. But what I was gonna say, I'm reading comments and trying to talk at things. I'm completely distracted. I've had a 4-year-old in my house for like a couple hours. I'm not used to this shit anymore. I mean, like too old. My kids are 19 and 22. Like I'm not used to a 4-year-old being in the house anymore. So my brain's kind of like.
I don't feel bad for you. I have a 6-year-old here all the time.
Yeah, well, that was your choice.
which you know what? We've actually spent a lot of time playing Kirby on the Wii lately, so yeah, it works out okay too.
So you're saying you use your 6-year-old to get to play video games?
Yeah, and watch movies. I would have never gone to the Lego movie by myself.
I'm not really sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing there, Jared.
Yeah.
Oh, that's going to be my shave soap brand, the shit grandpa used to use. Yes. So, well, you know, because seriously, and my uncle, before I started making shave soap, he had my grandpa's mug and brush, and he literally was taking my bath soap and like shoving it into a mug. And I was like,
Yeah.
what are you doing? That's not the same thing. And he's like, it doesn't matter. And I'm like, it does kind of matter. You said shake it out. You guys, stop. I got to be able to read these comments. See, they're completely distracting me. I've already had too much wine for this. So, okay. So for the mugs, back to the mugs. That's what I was talking about. So you can just load the brush in it. You don't actually build your lather in the mug, right? It's instead of like a jar, basically.
Yeah. I mean, depending on the size of your brush, you could, I guess, if you wanted to, but it's got such a small area that it's kind of tough to lather into that. But I mean, lather, you can lather into pretty much anything you can swirl a brush on soap in, right? So you don't need a fancy lather. Well, I just like them.
Yeah. Well, I love mine. And like I said, the Q shave that I have, I bought it because I thought it would be nice for pictures. And I like that it does have the warm up. I don't know why. I don't face lather except for whenever I do it live in front of everybody, evidently. But so I don't really need it warm. I just thought it was kind of cool. And my husband's never going to use this, I can assure you. That I make a mess whenever I'm doing testing, whenever I'm doing like lather testing and stuff. I make such a mess in this. But with yours, I guess it's also like because of the straighter sides, I assume that helps. Right?
Yeah. I mean, that is on the deeper side. And so I was kind of glad you picked that one because I knew you use it for mostly testing. So some of the ones that are a little bit shallower, the soap's going to creep up a little bit on the sides. We do have a couple we've done where they've actually curved in a little bit to keep the soap down. But really, when you're lathering, you should be pushing that soap back down to the bottom of the bowl as you go anyways. Okay. Lather builds on lather. So when you're working on top of a clean bottom with all the lather coming up the sides, you're not doing your best work. If you push the lather back down and keep working on top of it, it's going to help you build a lather quicker and better.
So if you incorporate actual air into it, though, does that make it more airy, or does that help build the actual lather?
Well, the lather is air and water, and it's kind of getting in between the soap molecules, and so you are putting air into it when you're making a lather. It's just you want to get the air bubbles as small as you can to get a better lather. So that's what a lot of times if you add too much water to a soap, and it'll start to get really frothy and bubbly. Right. A lot of the times you can save that just by keep working it with your brush and pushing it back down and just keep working it, and you'll pop those bubbles and make them smaller, and you'll get a better structured lather. Okay.
So do you have a particular like motion that you do or a particular pattern that you do whenever you're bowl lathering?
Yeah, that's not going to get any comments. I'm around the horn and back and forth.
Okay, so, well, I know Tim was talking whenever I did bowl lathering with Timmy Two Shaves a few weeks ago, I guess now. He kind of had made a couple comments, but I've watched a couple of YouTube videos on bowl and face lathering the past couple weeks. And I know some people have like a specific pattern that they do, whether it's like, you know, they'll go around the brush a few times, they'll load, and then they kind of go back and forth versus like keep going like in the same direction, I guess. Like you want to kind of change it up a little bit.
Yeah, okay, yes.
Seriously, like, come on, just one. Like one of these times, you guys were you like you're not in high school anymore.
Were you ever a fan of the TV show Friends?
The what?
The TV show Friends.
Yes.
I remember. I'm thinking of the scene where Monica is talking about having an orgasm and going through the numbers, and it's like 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that's kind of what's going on here.
These guys are awful. Like sometimes they're just so good, and then others. I gotta say though, they're very dedicated. Like I can say, hey, I can make a call to action and say, hey guys, I need to know this, or I need you guys to tell me this, and they're on it. But then other times like this, you guys like, come on, you're not 14 anymore. It's okay. I got it. fine. It doesn't bother me. You know, guys, I have 15 years medical experience in a lab. I have handled everything that has came out of your body. And I mean, everything that has came out of your body has been handed to me by a patient. So I got this. It's fine. You can't embarrass me.
I, however, have not. So keep in your pants.
Yeah. And like, it's seriously like, it's not going to bother. It takes a lot to bother me. I mean, it's not even. I've had old men grab my ass while I was drawing their blood before, you know. I mean, it's like, just really, Grandpa. It happens. Okay, so I feel like my brain is really not working at this point anymore. I feel like there's something that we're missing though. So do you have anything new come up? Oh, do you do horsehair?
We don't do, well, I don't have any horsehair brush, and we've done like one brush. And like, it was kind of more just for an experiment to make a brush handle. And in fact, the only brush that we've done is sitting with Kimmy Two Shaves. And I believe you actually used it today.
The horsehair on the glaze. Isn't that what it's called? The horsehair?
Oh.
It has like
there is a bunch of different techniques you can do. There's, my wife would be telling me the word for it. There's like, she throws in, you can throw like newspaper and hair and all that stuff. And then you throw it into like a hot fire, and it gives you a different kind of look to it. I believe that's not food safe, so we haven't done it in a lather bowl.
Oh, okay.
And it's also, it's you kind of have to have a special setup to do that kind of firing. So
okay.
That's something that kind of she'd need to get a special day with her pottery group, and off they'd go. So, yeah.
I see. So Josh wants to know: do you do custom designs? Do you take custom orders?
We don't. The deal with the bowls is that glazes can be really finicky. So, it's like a colored powder that you mix in water, and it's suspended, and then when you put it on, it kind of coats the bowl. You throw it in the kiln and it fires, and what it does.
Right.
So you can put the same glaze on two different bowls and they'll come out looking completely different. So it's really tough to try and nail down a color or a style, and even the textures will, depending on the glaze, it will fill in differently. So you can have some that are really deep, and then when you fire it, they get filled in with the glaze.
I see. Josh, if you don't have one of Luton brushes, I do. It's actually like, it's literally a crack in there. It's pretty cool. I love my Luton brush, actually. And I don't have them. I didn't bring any of my good ones. I didn't bring any of my good brushes out here. I just have a couple of my test brushes out in the shop. They want to know, they want to see you lather. They want to see it. Give us a lather test. That's what he says.
I am nowhere near a latherable place at the moment. So I don't have water, or I do have soap and a brush, but I'd be lathering in rum and Coke, and I don't want to waste my rum and Coke.
Okay. I got this.
But you know what?
I'll be right back. Hold on.
I will definitely do that another night, though.
You keep talking. I'll get stuff.
Well, I'm going to try and go back through some of the questions in here. Lancaster Razorworks. Hi, how you doing? Another bowl designer. Awesome. Yeah, there's some pretty fantastic potters out there that do some pretty cool designs. That's for sure. Okay. So my water's cold, but because my water in my workshop takes forever to get hot, so I'm not going to do that. So this is Gypsy, just so you guys know. Not that it matters, but this is actually the sample sizes that I send out with orders. You guys have. My wife just heard me talking about pottery and poked her head around the corner. I think she's going to come in and answer for you. Oh, that'd be great. Get the actual expert in here. Is that what you're saying? Lovely wife. Hi.
Hi.
What's your name?
Erin.
Erin?
Yes.
Hi. Nice to meet you, Erin. I'm Heather.
Hi.
So we have a bunch of high school men on here.
I've been reading.
Welcome to my world.
Upstairs. I want to talk about the horsehair question.
Okay. Yes.
So the thing with horsehair is that it's a really delicate finish on the pottery. So if you have any repeated contact with water or friction or anything like that, friction, right?
Just give them ammunition, why don't? Just give them ammunition.
You're gonna wear that finish off, and the same is for raku firing. You get all this really crazy metallic stuff going on. It's beautiful to look at. As soon as you start using it, it's toast.
Okay, because I do love the horsehair finish.
They're gorgeous. Yeah.
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 Gosh.
It's really hard though. You're gonna lose all of that magic as soon as you start using it. You'll see it starting to wipe off because it's just char. Like it's not permanent by any stretch.
So even on the outside, like just the handling like this, will that work?
Yeah, your fingers are a bit like you can wax it. You can add somewhat of a. I know.
You're just digging it right in. You have no idea.
You can try to give it a bit of a coating, but you're gonna wear through it with your hand.
Okay.
You're gonna wear through it with your hand.
Gotta love your sexy.
God.
Bunch of 4-year-olds, you have no idea.
No to raku, no to the horsehair. You were talking about glazes looking different.
Yeah.
This is the same glaze. I don't know if you can tell. Oh, it's really shitty with the comments there. This one's brown and this one's like blue-green.
Okay.
That's exactly the same glaze. Does it look like boobies? Okay, I'm gonna go.
She'll fit right into the group.
Been lovely. Have fun.
Nice to meet you.
Okay,
guys. So I definitely need more water because my soap could take a shitload of water. But okay. So one thing that I remember before I got my bowl from you, I think maybe it was Tim. I don't know. It may have been Jason or Tim. Somebody had mentioned that the bowls sound, and I thought that was weird. But then whenever I got your bowl, like I get it. Like you can actually hear. I think it sounds kind of cool. It makes a different sound. I'm assuming it's the ridges that are in it, but I do like it.
It's kind of like the way you get good feedback from a razor. It's just the feedback that you get from working on it.
So and I can't remember who mentioned that. It may have been Tim. Timmy Two Shaves had mentioned that, but I thought that was kind of weird. But then, in my other bowls, of course, I have a plain white cereal bowl. It doesn't make any noise. But the Q-shaped bowl doesn't really either. But yours definitely. It definitely has. You guys probably can't hear that over my brush, but it definitely has a unique sound to it. So does that sound inside?
Yeah, I mean it's just gonna resonate different when you work the soap in. So
resonate.
Different textures will sound different.
I see.
Yeah.
So Jared's being the slacker and not doing any demonstrating, but I do have his. And
well, I'm not in a workshop with like bounties of soap. Well, I do have bounties of soap around me, but that's But I did see there was a question about synthetics versus natural hair for brushes and lather bowls. So you can lather bowl with, you can use any brush with lather bowl. It's just certain textures are going to be a little trickier with certain natural hair. So if you have a lot of people will use, like, I think they're called Sarabuchi bowls, and they're texture on them, and they can be a little. So if you have a brush that you're really like worried about, then you probably want a lather bowl that doesn't have an aggressive texture to it.
Oh, so it can damage the actual brushes?
Well, it definitely works them out a little bit quicker.
Like knowing how to spell Sarabuchi. So I'm just going to say, guys, people say that, you know, people complain that I don't sell samples, and I just don't. But I do send samples of some sort with every order, whether it's balms, a bath soap, or a shave soap or something. So this is actually exactly what I send out, and there's still soap pressed into the bottom of the bowl. This is exactly the samples that I send out size-wise. So shave out of like a sample that I send. So
yeah, I think the samples you sent me, I could probably get 5 or 6 shaves out of them pretty easily.
Yeah. And I can't remember if I sent you these cubes that I'm sending out now, or if I sent you like the full squares. I was trying to give you some options. So the Stonefield actually is carrying my soap in Canada. So, but they only have, I think, 3 cents right now. So
yeah. The only tricky thing I find, like as an Instagram person with samples, is that it's hard to highlight a sample on a shave of the day to make it look good. So, like I know I want to post like, oh, I got this awesome sample from Zingari, and I want to show it off, and like a sample in a shave of the day photo that how great the product is. So
yeah, and Tim did a really good picture. He was using my business card, and I think maybe you had done that as well.
Yeah.
Business card in it, which is nice. I am working on samples, but it'll be like a sample, like it'll be more like a sampler, like a 3-pack. You can pick 3 cents, and it'll have a soap and a 1 ounce aftershave with it. So it won't be just a soap sample. It'll be kind of a set. And don't realize is there's still work. I mean, I had somebody come here yesterday and help me in my workshop right now, but I had somebody come here, and she literally spent 6 hours labeling samples and shave soaps for me, and I still have to do. So it's just all time is more than anything. It's not just more time. And like for me myself, it's just me, and I currently make, between the men's and the women's, I make 60 products between all the variations and scents and things like that. So it's a lot.
Yeah.
So I am working on that. I do get a lot of questions about samples, but I do include samples in with all my orders, so that, and if there's something specific that you want to try, you can always send me a request for it. And I do kind of mix those up. If it's, especially if it's somebody I'm familiar with. Guys, this is awesome. Left in the ridges down in there that I can't get out. But I don't think I need to. So yeah, anyway. You could stamp your samples with your logo. That would be just, it's very time consuming.
Yeah, it's because samples are definitely work, because they're probably even finickier to package, right? I mean, you have to be a little more hands-on with. Yeah, it's tough. But it's one of those things, like as a person that's kind of wants to highlight the artisan, it's like how do you do that in a way that kind of shows off exactly what your product is and how great it is with the, you know. So I've been doing some that are, I've taken like my iPad and used it as a background photo, and I've done some that are just pure lather photos where I'll lather up the sample, and where it doesn't have any of your branding, at least it's a really cool lather. So
yeah, 3D printed sample modes. Now, see, now we're talking. That could work. that could work. Although, what I like silicone, so I can pop them out. I don't know. You can't probably.
Lyle, it's spiced rum. It's the Kraken. If
That's a dark spice rum too, right?
and it's delicious.
And the winner of our giveaway that we did with like the Traveling Mariner set, and he got the Appleton rum from Jamaica that we brought back. He actually just posted pictures tonight, so I need to repost those. Oh, Chris is here. Hi, Chris.
Hey, Chris.
It took pretty much as long for Chris in Alaska to get his products a day, just so you know.
You know, I've actually gotten products quicker from the States than I have across Canada.
I from Italy than what stuff has went to Canada. Actually, my shave brush that I just got from Italy a few weeks ago literally got to Canada, which is really bad.
And the person that was talking about printing with the flexible filament, and for do is I probably print a negative of what your mold is. A pour with like a flexible material over top of it. So essentially you make a cast.
So that sounds really sample molds that have my logo on them?
Maybe. We'll talk. It's right. So that's kind of the tricky thing.
Yeah.
As far as like I could do like the Zingari Man scale, then
yeah.
it's hard to get the details.
Well, even if I could just get the Zingari, and I don't need Zingari Man or the head, I could just
yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does anybody have any questions? I think we're actually getting close to like 50 minutes now, so probably need to off. Max. Yeah, I agree, Max. It's I actually have a we did a product exchange and it's been held up. Mine going to her has been held up in Chicago for like 3 days. And I don't know why there's such a lag. Canada to the US, I think quicker than it goes from the US to Canada. Or something like that, but
yeah, it depends which end there is as well. Like I find that stuff that comes in kind of BC coast comes in a lot quicker than coming in from like Toronto area. So
oh, okay. Yeah. Turner released Latherhog. Yes, John. Sorry. Yeah, we are wrapping it up, but you can catch the replay. We are talking. This is Jared from Thirsty Badger. So we are going over shave and his products and things like that. That are in here if they say.
At least 4 Saskatchewan people in here, so it's probably a lot of us that's the problem.
Yeah. You Canadians, you're such troublemakers.
I'm surprised that the feed's even working with 4 people from Saskatchewan. We're kind of remote up here.
Yeah, and I did notice sending gets to Ontario. For me, I'm in Indiana, so kind of middle-ish. It goes to Ontario quicker to some of the other areas, so I'm sure there's a lot of
that the dog sleds can get it here, but
So where are you at in the whole realm of things? Where are you located?
We'd be of Montana.
Okay, so you're pretty far west.
Yeah, we're in the western part
Okay.
of the country.
All right. I know, because I feel like whenever we a good week and a half, 2 weeks almost, maybe even.
So Jonathan at Stonefield, he is in Winnipeg, so it's one province over. So that's like a 10-hour drive from here. So we are.
Yeah, because he's kind of middle, right?
He'd even be Western Canada.
He is. Okay. I'm barely up on like the U.S. geography, let alone Canadian geography. I'm barely. How far over is that it? I don't know. They call us Midwest. We're in Indiana. We're not really in the middle. I'm not really sure why they call us Midwest. A little bit more to the east, but we're not East Coast either, so not sure. We're just kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Saskatoon to Winnipeg is 8 hours, not the way I. We have friends that live, so we always go down and stay with friends and make a trip out of it. So,
right. Okay. Well, does anybody have any questions before? The Providence. That's the. Yeah. I guess that means no. Nobody has any questions. Get cut off. Let's go ahead and end this so it doesn't just end like it did with Tim and I. It just kind of shut us off. So thank you very much for putting up with the high school comments here and answering questions. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate your time.
That's my pleasure. Yeah.
When is the new lather coming? Gavin, what are you talking about? They're asking when is there.
I do have your bowl waiting for you, Lyle. As far as what's new coming, we've got hiring, but we just did a big batch. Because it's kind of like a part-time hobby thing, it's not a real quick to throw all the bowls, you let them dry a little bit, then you do your first firing in the kiln. They come out, you glaze them, and then you fire them again. So it to the Potters Guild, it takes a while to run through. Some that I know that are waiting to be firing and stuff. So
awesome. Gavin asked if I have a new scent. I do. I have a spring floral coming out, and it's not a sweet, heavy floral. It's a very clean, crisp green note. It has a seagrass note in it. So to me, it reminds me of when you go to the florist and you actually smell the green cuttings, not just the flowers. It's not really sweet at all. It's very clean and green and crisp with a little bit of like a jasmine in the background. So it's
Sarasota invented.
Really?
Yeah. Is he still in here? I hope he heard that.
Yeah, he's not here, or he would definitely have been. Josh says stay out or about or a again. I think they're talking about your accent.
Sorry.
Yeah, he invented. See, there he is. He invented the Muse. The Muse is going to be the new scent, and then. But I have a Zingari Tribe soap, guys. I'm going to do a live over this and sometime in the next few days, maybe over the weekend. Some new things that are going to be coming. And I'm really wanting to work on community. And I have that I'm super excited about, and the YouTube channel is part of that. So you guys stay tuned. I definitely will be doing another live probably over the weekend. It'll just be during the day sometime, just to do I really, really have been working on some things in the background that I'm super excited about. Josh, whenever I have time to get caught up with tallow again, the tallow is a little bit of a priority just because I have some wholesalers that are wanting it. So hopefully that and the unscented balm will be soon. But the tallow will be ready when it's ready. I don't have a deadline. I kind of got to keep up. So
people, you don't need the tallow. The vegan is perfect.
My vegan, you don't have. Right, so I think we have like 1 minute before we get cut off. So everybody, thank you so much and have a great night. Jared, thank you. I really appreciate it. And also thank you for being patient and rescheduling with me. I really, really appreciate that.
No worries. If there's any questions that didn't get answered, folks, just fire them both my way or Heather's way and we'll try and get back to you.
Yes.
Cheers.
Awesome. Have a good night, guys. Bye.